school suspension compared to their white peers. Additionally, despite federal and state mandates requiring support and accommodation for students with disabilities, these students are more than 2.5 times as likely to face out-of-school suspensions as their peers. Independent of disability status, black students have a 16.1% suspension rate versus white students' suspension rate of 2.7%. The personal story of a student of color, plaintiff CB, illustrates the effects of the disparate impact of the district's practice and policies in the lives of individual young people. This student, an academically high-performing sophomore, met the prerequisites for placement in advanced placement calculus. Despite her stellar academic record, she was not recommended for the course she would have needed to qualify for AP calculus. Her teachers had consistently placed her in the class level below the highest level without her parents' knowledge and with no explanation. Repeatedly, when her parents asked why her daughter, that's a misprint there, was not placed in the highest level, school staff could not provide an answer. We hope that our action will prompt the district to replace its detrimental reliance on exclusion with methods that will improve the school climate for all children and dramatically reduce the large discipline gap among the lines of race and disability status documented in the complaint, said Daniel Lozen, director of the Center for Civil Rights Remedies and Civil Rights Project at UCLA. Ultimately, anti-discrimination law requires a rejection of the status quo in the South Orange Maplewood School District. All students, regardless of their race or disability status, must be afforded access to a rigorous curriculum in a safe and supportive environment. By closing the access and discipline gaps, we believe the district will also make strides in closing the achievement gaps. Among recommendations, the complaint proposes some of the following steps for reform. So we've got 3 here. Replace tracking with standard curriculum for students of all levels with supplementary instruction for students who need it. Such reform in Rockville Center, New York, resulted in a dramatic narrowing of the achievement gap. I could say something about that. Reserve out-of-school suspension for only the most extreme cases of harm. Focus instead on dealing with behavior directly. School districts that have removed suspension as a routine disciplinary measure have found greater learning outcomes among the students affected. Partner with experts, community members, and the complainants to reduce the adverse impact on students. And this complaint can be read online at
I just posted on Facebook. Now,
all right, cool.
Let's try to give this a try. This is from Teaching Tolerance, and I used to play this in the past, and this I played this because of exactly what was happening at Columbia High School. And remember, I used to play that Tim Wise piece.
This is similar to that piece, is it not? Is it? Go ahead. Let's hear. I hope it works.
Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we just take it off.
Our achievement gap is largely a function of institutional racism. It's largely a function of how we do education. The overassignment of students of color to special education, that's institutional racism. It's built into the system. Institutional racism is where there's a set of assumptions, behaviors, procedures, ways of doing things that are just commonly accepted that everybody kind of participates in, but they have these inequitable results later. Overassignment of students to special ed, students of color to special ed. Overassignment of the least experienced, least trained, least educated, most alternatively educated teachers to the kids and students of color. If you look at a district that's very racially diverse, that has middle class, lower class, all of your most experienced, most educated.
Okay, that doesn't work. So let's get back to.
Yes, but I mean you've played that before. All your experienced and most educated, I guess, was his last word. Teachers are teaching in the higher levels, and the lower level classes are taught by the inexperienced teachers.
Yeah.
And thus, because of this, We have this achievement gap because the students who are in the lower levels are not exposed to the same amount of information as students placed in higher levels. I understand that.
But the thing about it is that you hear that Columbia and all these grandiose things that they're doing to close the achievement gap. And I say this over and over. Very rarely do you hear during a Board of Education election they talk about levels. They stay away from that. And the reason why they stay away from that is because they feel that the people in the western section of Maplewood and South Orange don't want to hear anything about levels. And if you talk about levels, you're going to scare them away and they're not going to vote for you. And Joanna Wright proved that to be very different. That in this community, plain talk, bad manners, you don't need the people in the western section of South Orange Member to vote for you in order for you to win an election. And that, to me, is a misnomer. That you need the people up the hill. You don't. In that situation, the people where they call it Maplewood, they can have a significant impact on not just Board of Education election, but also the Maplewood Township committees when they have those elections, the election on November 4th. If they really band together and get out, they can change the face of the Board of Education yesterday.
That depends on who's running and what their platform is. So you're assuming that the candidates out there running are all anti or for heterogeneous classrooms?
Most of the candidates.
No, you have two candidates who might lean in that direction, and the other two candidates, Maloku made it clear that he wasn't interested in so-called de-leveling or getting rid of levels. And we know that the what's her name? She's not interested, and Donna Smith isn't interested in that either. She was running a campaign called Levels Can Work. So,
what about Elizabeth Baker?
We never asked them that, but I don't. Again, these people are catering to certain constituencies. Now, from my discussions with their campaign manager, and I've never had a discussion with Maureen Jones, but they all state that they are, against levels or for equity is the word they use.
They are for equity?
Yes.
Okay, good. So they're against levels.
Now, but look at the
They're against tracking.
Look at this second point, though. I mean, because there are many ways you can look at this. Many ways? Well, there's another way you can look at it.
Okay, help me here.
So if you have students that really are relatively gifted and honorable and have huge vocabularies, and then they're in a class to themselves, so their teacher is teaching at that level to them, right? You're teaching at,
all right.
I've got 9th grade students who read at a 10th grade or 11th grade level, so I'm going to teach them like they're 11th graders. I don't have to break every word down, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And you have students who are reading at level or below. Maybe they read at a 7th grade level, and they're in the 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe that you should be able to put all of those people, those different types of students, I mean, I'm talking as a teacher, in the same classroom.
Yes, absolutely.
And who benefits from that?
Everybody.
How does everyone benefit from that?
Okay, think about it this way.
Now, let me just tell me, how does everyone benefit from that?
I'm going to show you. When you go to college, if you left Columbia and you were in level 2 and you're going to be a business major, and a person was in AP history, AP math, AP science,
whatever, go ahead now,
all
higher
the
level.
APs. When you go to college, everybody now is in the same class. If you're a business major, you got to take almost the same core courses as I do in order to graduate. Okay, you may graduate with a 3.0 or 3.5. I may graduate with a 3.0. But we all have to take the same classes, and we have to learn at the same speed. The professor doesn't slow down for Joan, because she was in AP classes.
Who is benefiting? That's all I'm asking you. But
everybody's benefiting.
how is that?
Because what happens now is that the kids that are the intelligent kids in the class gonna do excellent anyway, and the slow kids, right? Quite a few of them may bring their learning up to try to get up there close to the good kids. Not all of them.
Well, I mean, if
But
you're
a
saying,
majority of them
okay, so
may
you're
want to raise
qualifying
their
some
standards.
of them as good and not good, and some of them as intelligent and non-intelligent.
Yeah, some of them going to raise their standards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is? It's like being.
And you know what? Some of them those who are at the top, that you call the good kids, quote unquote.
They're going to succeed anyway.
No. You can't say that.
Yes, they are.
They may or may not succeed, but there's no reason to impede their growth. So I have a hold on.
Okay.
People believe that you should be able to individualize education, right? So if I've got 15 kids, you're going to do a project on globalization, you do a project on mercantilism, you do a project on the environmental blah, blah, blah. Because that's your interest, that's your interest, that's your interest. And because you read at a 12th grade level, you can get to certain types of text that somebody over there cannot get to. That's how, in the good way, in a private school where you've got a small group of people where you can individualize education. But if you have a classroom of 25 to 30 to 34 students, you're doing this in one big swoop. I might have one or two kids that are really, really bright, and I have to supplement them. But if I have a third of the kids that are reading in a second of a gifted kid would say, why are you slowing my kid down to benefit that kid? And so that's why I ask, who is the benefit? Yes, it might help the kid who reads at a lower grade level to rise up. But what are you giving the people who are already where they're supposed to be, or even above, something for them to reach to?
Everybody's getting the same thing.
Everybody can't get the same thing because everyone is not the same.
So
This is why people are tracked into groups based on ability.
So in a class, you teach according. If you have a class with different learners at different speed, you teach the class differently. You teach the better kids.
Why are we calling them better? So you're putting that label on them. So you're giving them the status. I'm not saying that they're
more intelligent.
Better. I would say that they read at a higher rate than
others. They're more
others.
intelligent.
They read at a higher rate than others.
But they are more intelligent.
No, that's not. They might have more knowledge. That doesn't necessarily make them more intelligent.
Yeah.
They have more knowledge. Maybe they have a bigger vocabulary.
Okay. If I'm getting a 95 on a test all the time, and you are getting a 75, I'm more intelligent than you are.
No, you wouldn't say that.
Yes, I would.
But see, that's that. No.
I would.
But at any rate, okay, you can say that, but I could never say anything like that. And so I will say, because you can't. You might be more intelligent than me in this science course.
Good. That's what I'm saying.
You might have more knowledge than I do in this science course.
Yeah.
And I'll have more knowledge than you in a political science course.
You're more intelligent than me in that.
But that's not necessarily intelligence. It's knowledge. So the intelligence is the ability to apply the knowledge that you have. It's not. It's innate in some ways, and it's your ability to analyze and have these certain critical thinking skills.
You're getting C across all your classes, and I'm getting A.
Yes. That does not make you necessarily more intelligent than me.
Okay.
But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But what we're saying is, I'm saying to you that, it would be nice if you could have heterogeneous classes. Like you could probably have...
maybe America is the only place that doesn't have it.
No, come on, you have in British colonial systems,
no, British system
standard
don't have,
level and old level.
No, I got to tell you.
Wait, no. I mean, please, you can tell me everything you want to about Trinidad, but I know a lot about education all over the world, and I'm telling you that you have people tracked into you've never heard of the standard level and old level?
No.
Okay, maybe that doesn't exist in Trinidad.
Old levels. in Trinidad and Tobago, yes, there's O levels and there's something called, there used to be O levels.
Okay.
And something called A levels.
Okay.